And now, podcasting from the sun-scorched desert Southwest, weighing in at a combined total of 340 pounds, Brad Winchester, Tyler McDowell-Blanken, are Gimmick Infringement.
Welcome, everybody, to the Gimmick Infringement podcast. I am Brad Winchester, and with me is my tag team partner, Tyler McDowell-Blanken. Tyler, it's Sunday post-Vengeance Day. How you doing today?
I'm blessed. Doing so well, Brad. It's post-Vengeance Day. It was a busy week for both of us. I wouldn't say, correct me if I'm wrong, not a hellacious week. No. Just very busy. I know we have some anecdotes to share about wrestling and other details. So, yeah, man, feeling blessed, feeling good, living better. I have no complaints. How are you?
Doing well. Very busy week. First day with tech. Kind of a rough week with my English peeps. Trying to figure it out. Turns out lit circles with a text that's like 3,000 years old is difficult. So I had to smooth some things over, but by the end of the week we got there. And getting to work with the kids in the theater workshop has been great. But Tyler, I got some pictures from you. We had some texts. You gotta tell us about your experience with Spirit Week.
Yeah, man. Thank you for not only checking out what I posted, but for bringing it up. So, as my job at the university is obviously out of the classroom in the sense that I'm not teaching every day, but essentially my job is to recruit students who want to become teachers or convince them that teaching is a great path forward. So I went to a couple high schools this past week, one of which was Centennial High School here in Peoria, Arizona. Really large school, over 2,000 kids, a lot of accomplishments over the years. If you're from the West Valley, you probably know about Centennial. So anyway, I get there and I'm presenting to an education class. So it's the usual gimmick where parking is at a premium. So I take a staff parking, but I put my little ASU hanger on.
Ballsy.
I probably
So
divulged
ballsy.
my secrets. Yeah, that's going to be done now. But I took the one staff spot that was open because I didn't want to look for visitor parking. And then I roll up in there, obviously sign in Jones, Feather Pen City. And then a student comes and gets me. It's the whole thing. And the students are awesome. I always have nice conversations. And when the student comes and gets me and is escorting me to the classroom, because I hadn't been to Centennial before in this capacity, I see all these decorations and I hear like some EDM music coming from the auditorium. I'm like, are these kids throwing a rager? Like, what the hell is going on? So it turns out it was Spirit Week for them, and they had two different assemblies. And I look around and I didn't ask the student, but in my mind, I asked myself, is that Booker T on one of their walls? And oh my God, they're Stone Cold. That's definitely Hulk Hogan. So their Spirit Week was all wrestling themed, Brad. Monday, they told me, was Can You Dig It Day. So that was the Booker T.
So good.
Once they told me this, I think I just went to such a state of euphoria that I didn't have the wherewithal to ask follow-up questions. So Can You Dig It Day? I don't know what that entails for clothing. What
feels like a 70s day.
Yeah,
probably.
Yeah. Can You Dig It Day was one. There was a John Cena You Can't See Me Day.
Amazing.
The day I was there, and again, this is like totally sent by the universe. The day I was there this past Friday was Sasha Banks Day. So it was Boss Banks. So obviously
that makes sense.
Wear your best class color. I think actually Friday was class colors, but maybe the day before was Boss, wear your fancy, expensive clothes.
Yeah.
So there was a Sasha Banks art piece. There was Rey Mysterio. It was just absolutely wild, man. I had to send you the video and the follow-up photos. I really thought that wrestling, as popular as you and I know it is, especially for the youth, specifically high school aged students, I didn't realize that it was reaching them like this. Clearly, there had to be enough students interested in wrestling at Centennial High School that this became a thing, an effective Spirit Week. Yeah. I was stunned. So I'm not telling you what I want Marana High School's next Spirit Week to be, but I'm just saying I know a fantastic veteran teacher there in J10 who has a passion and love for wrestling and connects with students and could maybe replicate this?
I do not have the voice or the ear in or of the student council, but believe me, like Johnny Appleseed, those seeds have been planted already. As soon as I saw those pictures from you, yeah, I may have said some things to some people. So
It was beautiful, right?
yeah, it was great. I hope we
was
can make it
so
happen
well
at
executed.
MHS. I love it because it's different. It's something that's also different. Like those Spirit Days were probably the same Spirit Days they've done 4,000 times. Doesn't matter. The reason for doing them was different. This year we had a Spirit Week that was all Mario themed, which I thought was cool. But
Nice.
you know,
With the
like
movie
very
coming out, and yeah, good time.
yeah. Well, I think a very similar excuse me, a very similar idea there was like Mario and Luigi. Like Mario and Luigi Day. It was Twin Day. So dress like Mario and Luigi, or dress like your friend, the twin, whatever. So it was very similar to that idea. So it's, I don't know what You Can't See Me Day would be, but I doubt wear clear clothing is what happened there. So I'm not really sure. Maybe it was probably Camo Day is my guess.
Yeah, that's exactly right. That's what it is. Yeah. In my state of
Yeah.
euphoria, I do remember their teacher telling me that it was Camo Day.
Yeah, perfect. Or like somebody probably wore a bodysuit dressed like a green screen or something.
Yeah. It's so translatable. It's not like you have to wear John Cena clothing. If you
No.
do, great. But it, like, of course, everyone would want to dress up in camo, or, like you said,
Sure.
have fun with the bodysuit. It was so well done.
Yeah, I love that. It's a simple idea that has a theme that makes all of the rest of the days make sense, and it's such a simple idea. But sometimes it's just Spirit Days to do Spirit Days, and it's like, well, give it a theme, and
Yeah.
then the Spirit Days make sense.
And hear me out in conclusion. So obviously, all good spirit weeks are capped off with an assembly on that Friday. Hear me out, my dude. Marana High School next year, pro wrestling themed spirit week, Friday assembly. It concludes with you, the wonderful Mr. Winchester, hitting a spinaroonie in the center of the gym to Booker T's music. Imagine, I've worked myself into a shoot here. This has to happen. Imagine the pop if you hit a spinaroonie in front of, I don't know what the population is at Miranda now, like 2,200 kids.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. Have you hit a
They've been
spinaroonie
splitting.
before?
They've been sitting the assembly. Listen, if there's a pop during my spinaroonie, it'll be my back. And you
I
know
knew you
this.
were going there.
I know you knew I was going there because
They
you know it would
split
happen.
the assemblies, right? That makes
Yeah,
sense.
yeah.
Because
So what I
the
would have
school
to
is
do that.
huge.
I would have to pull that off twice. I have zero confidence in doing it.
You can do it.
Yes, I have attempted many spinaroonies. Have I done it correctly? No, not one time. My legs aren't long enough, man. Like I can't flail around like
Yeah,
that. Like
he's got Book's got huge legs.
yes,
That's true.
they're enormously long legs, and I got like the stumpiest legs. I have the like upper torso of a 6'2" man and the legs of somebody that's I don't know 4'3". I got put on my father's upper half, my biological father's upper half, and they gave me Willow's legs.
Mm,
Like it's stupid. So
it'd be like that, yeah.
yeah, I'm the perfect blend of, was it Fit Finley? I can't even do it. Fit Finley and Hornswoggle. I'm both of them.
That's a deep cut.
Yeah, I'm both
like
of them.
it. Well,
Yes. Yeah.
Well, speaking
yeah.
of wrestling, Brad, we got NXT talk. So
lot of it,
Vengeance Day,
yeah.
man. I'm not going to take full credit for this, but I am just going to say I think I might have convinced you to tune in. What did you think from what you saw?
So, Vengeance Day, first of all, cue the graphic. Vengeance Day, from what I saw, because I didn't see all of it, I caught about the second half. I'm not. It was wrestling on my TV, and I got it for what was essentially, for me, I didn't have to pay anything else. I don't want to call it free TV because it wasn't, but I didn't have to pay extra for it. I thought the wrestling quality was really strong. I thought it was very much like watching character development in process. It's their training brand. So some of the wrestling was really good, but like I remember Edge doing an interview, and I know I sent this to you, but Edge did an interview about early Edge, about how he didn't know what to do, so he would just go out and go "Ah!" every once in a while because he just didn't know what to do. So he'd just scream. That entire triple threat women's match was screaming. It was just non-stop screaming for no good goddamn reason. Like those are people that are trying to figure out what that character is in that
Mhm.
moment. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that, but it's like my guess is if they get feedback and watch that match back, they're gonna go, "Oh, we yelled a lot. We yelled like a lot, a lot." Um, I was really struggling with that. And then on the guy side of things, sometimes with the guys in NXT, I find they don't do enough. So when Toxic Attraction went out there, it was like they did way too much. Then with the guys, they're just like totally vanilla and kind of boring. Um, the main event was the right main event. I thought Waller and Braun was fun. I thought the right guy won. Even though I could totally see Waller being champ there. I think that his work has been great. What they've been doing with Grayson Waller has been awesome. Like awesome. And it's not just the booking, it's the like the post show angle they did with Shawn Michaels when he was doing the press conference. I thought was awesome. When am I going to be the guy? All of that. That was great. So I don't know. That to me felt like either Carmelo maybe wins this match, takes it from Braun. Grayson's the one to take it from Mello, or Grayson's the first one up. Like he's the one that makes the most sense to me. Like he feels like a fully developed character. I don't know that he needs the NXT championship to be successful on the main roster. He's a prick. Like he gets under people's skin so easily, and he just has a punchable face that I think he's perfect up there. So I thought the show was fine. I thought it was fun, but I didn't see the first half, admittedly. What did you think?
I was it was super enjoyable for me off the bat because of the new venue they were in. So getting out of the PC has been I think a desire of so many NXT fans. Granted, I don't watch the weekly product with
Takeover vibes, right?
great consistency. Yeah, well said by you. Takeover vibes in that regard, especially from the opening match with Dijak and Wesley. That match was awesome. Right person
The
won.
finger, man. Oh,
Yeah, the finger
oh.
on Twitter after that match was awesome, and just seeing these performers work in front of a new audience, a bigger venue was great. There were some surprises as well. Some surprises that I believe will pay off in the long run. Others, I'm still a little mystified. We had the return of Dabakato,
Yeah.
formerly known as Commander Aziz,
Yeah.
and he just ragdolled Apollo. I don't know about that.
After
Kate,
Apollo got swept pretty
yeah,
handedly. Like
I know that was weird and cleanly, right? Mello
yes.
swept him cleanly.
Which I mean, whatever. We love Mello, but
We do.
I don't know.
I know that was questionable. Kaden and Katana dropping the tag team titles was a choice. I would assume maybe, speaking of people getting called up, I would assume maybe they are going to be seen on Mondays and or Fridays soon. Gallus won, right? So New Day's not only lost in the 4-way, but they got pinned
Yeah.
by Gallus. To
That makes
me,
sense.
yeah,
Yeah.
to me, obviously we know Roxanne Perez is a star, and I'm
Yeah.
eager to see her development continue, as well as Toxic Attraction. If Mandy Rose is not
Agreed.
coming back for the foreseeable future, where does this lead them? Again, also probably Mondays or Fridays, but
Agreed.
I left this show feeling so satisfied because now it is clear we have a date. Braun Breaker, Carmelo Hayes, stand and deliver. So, like you said, Brad, at the end of the night, Braun Breaker standing on top of the cage, great hero shot. And who comes out? No music or anything, but who comes out to say, I'm the next guy? Carmelo. This has been the match, the money match, right? Since really,
Yeah.
I don't know, the
We've been
first
talking
week.
about this for 6 months.
Yeah. Obviously, these guys have clearly been held apart because we wanted to build up suspense for whenever this match would occur. I've been wanting it. Dare I say, I've been predicting it would be WrestleMania weekend. And I think it's not only going to be one of the best matches we've ever seen on NXT 2.0, if we're still calling it that. But I do think, as you said, this is going to usher in a new era. I think Braun Breaker for sure drops the title to Carmelo that weekend. And I'm just excited to see Melo's ascension because that dude, as we saw on Twitter at GIPod19, that dude is just so clearly him. In your words, he's a charisma magnet. I'm just here for him in every way. I think he's fantastic.
Yeah, he's the star in every company that he goes to if he leaves, right? Like he's top guy status if he
Yes.
goes to AEW, if he goes to Impact,
Yeah.
especially Impact or New Japan. I feel like he would be pushed to the moon immediately. So like, yeah, that dude needs to be the face of NXT.
I think so. And Trick
I don't.
Williams is good too. I like
He's
them
great too.
together.
Yeah,
Yeah. I don't think Mello needs him, but I think currently Trick is adding
yeah.
to
Well,
what Mello does.
I would say that about a lot of tag teams, right? Like, did Bubba really need Devon for to be a single star? He's champions in other companies. I don't know that Jeff Hardy needed Matt Hardy, but like they're the Hardys they're different together. So I really like Trick with Mello. I'm not saying like tag team wise that's what they are, but for whatever reason that pairing really really works. I really like it a lot. Yeah, I'm with you, man. I thought it was great. I do think that Toxic Attraction is ready for the main roster. I thought the yelling in the singles match that they were in was just a lot. And Gigi should never wear blue lipstick ever again. It it looked when it came out, did it look like it was smeared all over her mouth to you? Because
Yeah.
she walked out and I was like, what's going on there?
What's
Like,
going on? Yeah. Yeah.
I thought maybe that was a way to differentiate the two, since normally they're tag team partners and in this they're single stars. So I'm not really sure. That was probably just a decision. But I thought they looked as far as like their in-ring stuff, I thought it was a fun match. I thought it was really good. And Roxanne is probably not going to be there for super long. I feel like within the next year she'll be on the main roster.
And she's 21.
It's crazy
for her to have the gifts she has already. It's just so excited for the women's division and to see what she contributes there for years to come, hopefully.
Before we get to the WWE question this week, Tyler, who goes first, Roxanne or Cora Jade?
Ooh, Roxanne, definitely. I could see Cora Jade actually being the person to be Roxanne Perez. I know there's a lot of love for Tiffany Stratton right now for good reason because she looks incredible. But I could see the story coming back around where Cora Jade is actually the woman to dethrone Roxanne, and then Roxanne gets called up. For me, no question, Roxanne Perez.
Well, the Nikita Lyons thing took off about 8 months ago, something like that too. That's come all the way back down to earth. So
yeah, Zoe Stark, though, her former tag partner, you gave Zoe Stark love for her Rumble appearance.
She's great.
If there's one woman who's ready now, I mean, Zoe Stark versus Roxanne Perez would be great, but I think Zoe Stark is ready to appear on Raw this week if they want.
Me too, and Indy Hartwell. To be honest with you, like I think both of them, because Indy's big, like she's deceptively large because she's so I don't know what the word is. I guess we'll say cut because I don't want to say thin because that feels like an insult, but she looks tiny. And then she gets up next to people, and you're like, "Oh my god!"
It's like Rhea Ripley, the tallest 5'8" person in the history of the world.
Yeah, exactly that.
It's exactly 5'8". I don't know.
I can't process.
There's some working going on there.
There has to be, right? Like
she's huge.
I know she's wearing lifts in her boots sometimes, or her boots have pretty big heels. But 5'8", okay.
Yeah, no, she's like
Shaq is 6'4".
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Yeah,
exactly.
Well, Tyler, it's time for WWE talk. That was a really smooth transition. I really feel good about it. Yeah, so let's play the music and let's get into it.
So WWE, Brad, I think you probably know where I'm going here. We saw the return of Sami Zayn on SmackDown. He attacked Roman Reigns, and the match is official. Elimination Chamber, I believe in only about 2 weeks, actually. Quebec.
Wow.
Zayn versus Reigns for the title. So we got to keep it a full stack here, man. We incorrectly predicted this. We thought Sami would be out for at least a week or two.
Yeah.
Due to that attack after the Rumble, right? It's true. You can rewind the tape from last week. We did say this. My question, are you cool with how Sami Zayn's return, if we can call it that, played out? And what is your excitement level to finally see this match?
I'm actually less excited now to see this match than I would have been because I feel like they rushed it. It's why would Sami want the belts? They didn't clarify that or clear it up. It doesn't make sense that Sami's just there to get the belts. Like he never really quite articulated it, and it said like I didn't want anything, but now I do, and that's as close as it got. which is it's fine. I didn't want anything. Now I do. All right. Now I know why he wants to do it because he wants the belts. But does he want the belts or does he want to hurt Roman? Make that clearer. Like that's the part that I would like cleared up. I also think that he needs to really lean into they didn't give him enough time. I would have been fine with the attack. I'll say this: I did love the way it ended after the fact, the end of the show, because I was pissed about how it ended, and I went, "Ooh, they got me! Ooh, they got me!" So I loved that, and I'm here for that match, but I feel like the build's gonna if it's only in a couple of weeks, that's a really big rush. And you could argue that the build's been happening for the last month or two, but has it though? I I don't know. He went from doing everything he can to convince the bloodline he's on their side to being kind of murdered. We still don't know what's up with Jay. Like there's a lot of questions, and I don't really know where I feel like there's too many loose ends right now for this story to feel very cohesive. Roman's already talking about Cody. We don't know where Jay is. I feel like Sammy's going to win the match and Jay's going to turn back, right? Kick Sammy in the face, cost him the match, go back to the bloodline.
I would say so.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to go after Roman. The only thing I could see is that it then becomes a fatal four-way at Mania. And then it's Jay, it's Sammy, it's Roman, and it's Cody.
Wow,
And
I hadn't considered that.
I don't think it'll happen that way, but you protect Roman, and maybe they go like the belts are on the line, both of them. And it's best, or it's we're gonna have two falls. First fall is for the WWE Championship. Second fall is for the Universal.
Wow.
And then we split them in one match at the same time with those four men. And then that way Roman can lose everything in one match, but you don't have to have separate places to split them up. If they don't put one on the line in Montreal and one on the line at Mania, Sammy has no chance of winning this. Like, if they're both up, it's not going to be Sammy. If one of them's up, it's going to be Sammy. Because I don't want to see Sammy versus Cody. It doesn't have the same kind of stakes.
Of course. Right.
You know, like it doesn't have that same kind of build. Because it'll be obvious that Cody is going to win.
Yeah, and I think you would just do irreparable harm to Cody there if he would end up beating Sammy at WrestleMania. Great. This would just be like, I know Cody's massively over right now, but I think Cody versus Sammy, Cody is going to get booed. I don't think that's their desired reaction coming out of Los Angeles.
Absolutely not. So, I'm excited for the match, but I have questions about the angle going into it, but I'm just glad it started, and we've kind of been waiting for this for a while. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm so stoked. You know how much I love the Clash at the Castle show last year, being in a different country and seeing the pops for the, Sheamuses and Drew McIntyres of the world. I'm so excited to see Sami Zayn in Canada to, if I may borrow your phrase here, Brad, to get his flowers in front of his people. That's going to be a huge moment for him. I'm stoked to see the match. Feeling a little bit rushed. Yeah, I mean, being in 2 weeks, like, whoa, it's already here. But as you said, this storyline obviously has been built for months and months and months. So I'm actually glad that we don't have to wait very long for it. It's going to rule. I'm so excited. I'm not sure Sammy has a huge chance of winning, but I think this match is going to be awesome. I'm just hoping that, dare I say, we get a haircut, we get the ska music back. I'm trying to wish these things into existence.
I don't even know if he needs to do the haircut, although he should.
He's going for the AJ Styles kind of look.
It's not great.
Yeah. The ska music, though.
It's always so matted.
Yeah.
The ska music back would be great. Imagine the pop in Montreal. I think what'll happen here is if he'll go in, he'll lose, Jay will turn back to the bloodline or something, or some kind of tomfoolery will cost him, and that's when we get a KO return.
Definitely.
Right? Like I don't think KO should be seen for a while after the chairs and the cuffs and the staircase.
Him returning at the pay-per-view the premium live event makes too much sense.
Yeah. And it'll give him a chance to heal up and have a break. And all that stuff, because he's been grinding for a while now
Right.
in
And
this
then
program with Roman.
if he returns so heroically, that also, much like Braun Breaker and Carmelo Hayes to close Vengeance Day, if KO returns at Elimination Chamber, that could clearly set up the
Exactly.
tag team match we all want at
Exactly.
Mania, right?
Yep.
Jay is back to being fully in the bloodline. So Usos versus KO and Sami, we're just off to the races.
Yeah, and I think that's the move. I think it has to be the move, right? Like that's
Has to.
yeah,
Opening night one,
yeah.
absolute banger. Come on now.
Cody wins. The Usos lose. The whole bloodline's in shambles at that point. What do? Maybe Solo has to step up. Maybe Solo is the one to take the US belt. I don't remember
Solo
what
get
show.
a match at Mania. Yeah. It's a great point. I think Solo.
Yeah.
Where does I think he's the ingredient in this that we probably don't discuss enough. Like if
Probably
Roman ends
not.
up losing, if the Bloodline ends up losing all the gold at Mania, where does Solo go?
Yeah.
Next, U.S. gold would be fine.
Yeah, that makes sense. I don't want to see him beat Gunther. I just don't. I don't want to see anybody beat that dude.
I think Sheamus is, if anyone, Sheamus. Like somehow
to be.
Sheamus getting that title from him.
Yeah.
Seems like the way.
Yeah, and they haven't had their third match yet, right? So yeah. So
It's true.
And it seems like Sheamus has been teasing that. So Sheamus and Gunther at Mania. Yes, please.
Yeah. We got to have Sheamus hold gold this year. I know he's a made man, future Hall of Famer, but he had such a magnificent 2022.
Oh my God, yes.
That
underrated.
I
man.
just, and I think it has to be IC belt, right? We've seen him as heavyweight champion. We've seen him as a tag champ with the Bar. The IC belt is that one that's eluded him. He came so close last year. I don't know if this is Mania, this is SummerSlam for me, but at some point this year, I want him to dethrone Gunther. Absolutely.
I think what's probably under talked about is we can question Triple H's booking of, especially of some of the women's stuff and a few other things since he's taken over, even though he's given us really good stuff. He has built those belts. They all matter. Every one of them, except maybe the women's belts, except for Bianca's. That SmackDown championship doesn't really, it's there. I don't know what it is, but that SmackDown Women's Championship has felt like a prop for the last year, and the Raw Women's Championship feels like a prize. So, for whatever reason, but what would you say is the more important belt right now? Either the Women's Championships or the Intercontinental Championship? Important in terms of value, not in terms of what it means and represents.
I just see Bianca Belair like staring at me like, you better choose the right answer. It's hard not to choose the IC belt at this point. It's totally returned to its luster.
Yeah.
And it wasn't that way for a long time.
Yeah.
A long time. I think Gunther was totally the right guy to add prestige to it. And to your point, Triple H's booking of the belt has just been magnificent. It matters now, and whoever beats Gunther, whether that's Sheamus or someone we haven't spoken aloud, it's going to be a huge deal. I think they're going to be a made man after that.
I think the vignettes have helped. I think when they reintroduced, when Triple H finally got creative control, he was like, let's show a belt and talk about why this belt is so important to Bobby, why it's so important to Gunther, why these belts matter, what the history of it is. Let's show clips and highlights. They haven't done that with the SmackDown or Raw championships. And I don't know if it's because they feel like they don't need to, but it's like, man, when the championship is called the SmackDown Women's Championship, it's just gross. Like, it's like it'd be like winning the Chick-fil-A bowl if you were in college. Like, it's just branded shit. Like, nobody wants that. Why the WWE Women's Championship or the Universal Women's Championship? It's simple. Have them be equal instead of this. No, this is the Raw TV Championship. There's no Women's World Championship. You just win on TV and that's it. I hate that so much about those belts, but at least they have them. It could be Divas belts.
Yeah, and the rivalries matter, I think, too, right? When we've seen, I think Bianca Belair, Ronda Rousey, etc., some of their rivalries have felt like they just haven't lived up to what we want the belt to be, right? So it's
Alexa Bianca.
Yeah, I was going to say, to me, it's less of Bianca, obviously not the idea of Bianca not being the right person, and that's why the belt isn't where it needs to be. Obviously, fallacy. We're not saying that, but the rivalries of her versus Alexa. I'm trying to think of another match she had last year. They just haven't quite. The rivalries haven't been
It was all Becky for
top
like
of
the
the
entire
top.
year.
And then, yeah, it's just been hit or miss with a lot of the feuds for that. And obviously, Ronda Rousey, we know that for a large portion of her
Yeah.
reign, we weren't in love with it. Ronda versus Shotzi wasn't it.
Well,
So I think
Bianca,
the rivalry matters.
yeah. Well, Bianca gave us Bianca Becky, Bianca Bailey. I no problem with that. I thought they were pretty good, but the Bailey rivalry wasn't more about Bianca Bailey. It was more about Bianca damage control. And same with Becky Bailey. It's more Becky damage control than Becky Bailey. I'm still looking forward to that cage match. But there's just a lot of little, yeah, you're right. Like the Alexa thing, at least we got a build for it. And it's just like, did anybody believe Alexa was going to beat Bianca? Now there's somebody that has now entered the conversation. We'll save that for another time because Kana Asuka is definitely the next champ. And I don't know who she's beating, but she's beating somebody. And my guess is now it's probably going to be Bianca.
Yeah.
And I would be okay with that as the person that wins that feud. Or we just get a certified banger out of those two and Bianca retains. I'd be fine with that too.
Yeah.
Because that one will matter. And that one will be like, she is one of the most dangerous people in the world. Shit, like Bianca Piper Niven would be good.
Yeah.
That would be amazing.
Yes. Yeah. I still remember her KODing. Wasn't owned by Piper Niven back then, but yeah, I mean, that's a very intriguing matchup.
Yeah, because they're like, it's the one person that Bianca can't necessarily hoss around, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And with Nia Jax gone, Tamina's not really around. Piper Niven is really that.
Yeah.
Has that physical presence in the ring.
And she's really good.
Yes.
That's the difference, right? Like
she's very good.
She's a really good technical wrestler. She has good ring psychology. She's just very good in there. She's like a Lady Vader. I don't know how else to describe her athleticism.
Yeah, I love that. Yep.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the one.
So my question for you is shocking that it's very similar and related to your question. So one of the most irritating IWC reactions in recent memory has been the overreaction to the boos that Roman received. And I didn't stutter there. Roman received them when he said he wasn't going to talk about Sami because Cody Rhodes deserved his attention. The boos were clearly a reaction to Roman burying Sami, but everyone seems to think that the reaction is Cody being booed. Now, Roman weaponizing a babyface to bury a babyface may be to blame here, but in any case, here's my questions. Should the belts be split because of this to give Sami his moment? Should Cody be the one to beat Roman for both belts? Or is there someone else in here and it's all a swerve?
Yeah, that's the, shout out to Nelly and Kelly Rowland. That's the huge dilemma of all of this, is that putting two belts on a person, it's just, I think you end up, it's a big deal. It shows this person's dominance, but then inevitably you run into the dilemma of, how do we get these belts off of them? Then how do we end up splitting them up? So it would make a ton of sense to go the unconventional route and have Sami win one of the titles off Roman at Elimination Chamber. Big, huge moment, right, for all of Canada. I don't think that's going to happen. Again, I think the route is KO and Sami end up winning the tag belts. What's more likely to me is that Cody ends up beating Roman for both belts at WrestleMania. However, after WrestleMania, does Cody say, I'm going to keep the Raw title and then, or, the undisputed, or whatever it's called, right? The WWE Championship, and then the Universal one on SmackDown's the blue belt. That's going to be, I'm going to give that back, and there's going to be a tournament to crown new champion. How do you split the belts? I believe the belts have to be split after Roman drops them, but I don't think Sami's winning at Elimination Chamber. Yeah. And what would Cody's promo be to only keep one of the belts or maybe he defends both and he ends up dropping one at, say, SummerSlam, right? What do you think is the likely route here?
I got a thought here. I was thinking about it while you're talking. This is way overbooked. So let's say we have Elimination Chamber and Roman wins, but he's injured. It's a work, but he's injured. So Sami doesn't try to win. Sami tries to hurt Roman by, like, I don't know, haluva kicking his arm while it's wedged between the door and the door frame or something, and does it over and over and over again. So he can't Superman punch him, but he ends up spearing his shoes off twice. 1, 2, 3, one arm. He goes back to SmackDown, and they're like, okay, Mania is in over a month. You have to defend the championship. You're contractually obligated to do so because you are a SmackDown branded talent. If you can't, you have to relinquish the Universal title. Now, you're not contractually obligated to compete with the WWE one. That's a Raw branded title. So championship. If you don't go to Raw, you're not contractually obligated to be there. You can defend it at Mania. But if you can't defend this week the Universal title, you have to give it to me and relinquish it, and we'll put it in an eliminator tournament that will be finished at WrestleMania or something. That way they could split them there. Roman doesn't lose. The belt goes somewhere else because he's injured. Sami costs him the title but doesn't win. But then Sami can win it in an eliminator tournament.
Yeah.
Or we could give it to a returning Big E if that's the case. Who knows?
I love that you threw that in there.
Yeah.
You know I'm down for that.
Because Bray's on there, and there's a bunch of other people. I don't want to see Bray with the belt, but he doesn't need it. But there's other people there that could be that. But that's one way. If they just simply go, you have to defend it, you can't. Oh, you have to relinquish it then. Sorry.
I don't know how feasible this is, but I love your idea of maybe, let's say, the night one main event of WrestleMania being this crowning of a new champion, right? Whether that's a one-on-one or a fatal four-way. I think that would be super unexpected and would rule. I really believe Cody is taking both belts at WrestleMania.
Yeah,
I just hope they're split. I just hope they're split after that somehow. I think putting 2 belts on a guy is just rarely a good idea. Obviously, we had Becky 2 belts, and that was awesome. And, maybe that was a little more effective, but I think they're going to face a real conundrum here. And your idea is exciting, though. I really like that.
I think if Cody's going to rebrand the belt and bring it back to the Winged Eagle or something, I think that works, but it would only work if it was one of the belts. That way they could keep the other belt, the big fat WWE logo, because the whole point of that is so they can give it to athletes and promotions and go like, hey, congratulations on this accomplishment. You won the NBA championship, Giannis. Let's take some pictures with you holding a giant WWE logo. So that's the whole point. That belt looks like that is to get brand recognition out there. You go back to the Winged Eagle, unless you zoom in on that thing, you don't know whose it is. So I don't see Cody being able to do that thing that we all want to see. Seeing that championship that his dad couldn't get, because that's what he'll do with it. And then they could always have him have a short run and then rebrand it. I don't really want to see that, but there's a million things that could happen here. I'm excited to see what they do with it, because it's either going to be great or a mess. And so far it's been really good.
Yeah, and maybe he wins and then just says, no, we're just going to have one belt now. I'm going to defend it on Mondays, on Fridays. In Dubuque, in Tucson, maybe that's right. Maybe it's a Cody promo, and he just says, "Okay, Winged Eagle Jones, one belt now, defending it everywhere," and maybe that's how they get out of this.
Well, I know what we just did. We just gave a dozen options for people to decide from.
Very comprehensive. Yes,
and roses come in dozens. Tyler, it's time for a rose from Tyler.
And now for a rose from GI's most eligible bachelor.
That was smooth. I did not see that coming. Well done. So, not a whole lot of notes from this past week on The Bachelor. We're looking pretty good in terms of our predictions. I know we have our list here. So, Brad, you are rolling with Anastasia and Mercedes. We know Vanessa was eliminated the first week. Still feel bad for you about that. I know. So your 2 are still rocking though. I got Catherine, Charity, and Brianna. Brianna and Zach, it appears are maybe lacking some chemistry at this point. Brianna is potentially feuding with another housemate. So not feeling great necessarily about her chances. I think Catherine is definitely a a favorite, a huge contender at the moment. So we'll see there. But my anecdote for you is one of the women that Brianna is potentially has some beef with, or starting a program with, one may say, is Christina Mandrell. Christina's a content creator. She is, I think she might be from Tennessee. I should have looked this up. She's somewhere from the Midwest or South, Accent Jones. And the reason I bring her up is not only the potential Brianna feud, but this past week she was on a date with Zach, and she, not confessed, that's not the right word. She shared with Zach that she is a mother. And so Zach's reaction was like, for sure he was taken aback, and I thought he was not going to give her a rose. Like, they were going to leave the date and he would say, hey, you're awesome, but I can't do this. I'm not ready to be a dad. But he ended up keeping her and really appreciated that she was so candid. So my question for you is, thinking back to several years ago, even a time before Jess, if you met someone who you were really vibing with, or let's say this could even have been Jess, right? Potentially. If the person you were interested in told you that they had a child, how do you think you would handle that? Would you have still gone along, or would that have been a sort of stopgap, like, oof, I don't know I'm ready? The reason I ask you this is because I was at LA Fitness years ago, and I walked in, I did my little scan gimmick, right, so that I can get in. And the woman at the counter was in a conversation with one of her colleagues and asked me, hey, can we ask you something? And I was like, no, of course. I said, sure, like, let's do this thing. And she said, she asked me this exact question, randomly, non-bachelor related. She said, would you date someone who has children already? And in the moment, I said, well, yeah, like, if the vibes are right, blah, 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 like, yeah. And I think she felt good about that answer. But in my mind, I walked away as I head toward the treadmill. I'd never used treadmills. That's not fun. But I walked away thinking, I think I just lied to this lady. I think if someone has a child ahead of time, I think that would be an immediate no for me. That answer doesn't make me feel great, but I think it's my honest answer. So I give you all this exposition to ask, perhaps if you were Zach in this situation and Christina Mandrell shared this with you, how do you think you would go about it? Would that be an automatic no for you?
I would have follow-up questions. I don't think it would be an automatic no. I'd be like, all right, who is the kid? How old is the kid? Is the dad still involved? Is there, there's a lot of complicated stuff there. Like, it's not as simple as you had a baby. Like, frankly, looking back at it now and thinking at a time before, I probably would have been freaked out by it because I'm a big baby. So I don't know that I would feel confident then taking care of another human life while I'm trying to work through my own, but I still feel that way now, and I am a father. So for that, I don't know. I guess it would depend on a lot of different factors. So if it was, well, I have some questions for you, it's like, well, no, I just wanted to tell you. Then I'm like, all right, well, then no, absolutely not. But yeah, I'd probably say yeah. It just depends. Like, is the relationship going to be me having to be a father versus me getting to know this person? That's a different conversation because I would also want to know the expectations. So that's it.
Yeah.
Like, if dad's involved, I don't need to be involved as a dad. I can just be there and be a person in their life and give advice and that kind of stuff. But I would, if I didn't have to be a dad. Now, if the kid's 10, a harder decision.
Yeah.
Than if the kid is 1. Honestly, if the kid is 1, I'd probably be like, all right, dad's probably still in the life, and I have to raise a baby and do all of that stuff. On the one hand, that baby will probably know me as their father. On the other hand, that baby is a baby, not a 10-year-old. 10-year-old can hate your guts, but whatever. You don't have to change their diaper.
I'll say they can use the
yeah, like they can't. Right? If they pee on you, it's malicious. Yeah. Yeah.
I have nothing to add to that. I was thinking about that as one of my takeaways from this week, and I was like, man, I should ask Brad. Like, my favorite row segments are the one where I don't just give you a recap, but I can ask you some larger philosophical or relationship centric question. So I appreciate it was a tough one, right? And like you said, it's case by case. It's each vibe is different, right? With I don't know. It's complicated, but I really appreciated your perspective on
I
this.
will put a cap on it with this. When I was working at Walmart in high school and college, I wasn't dating anybody at the time, and there was somebody that I worked with that was a young mom, a very young mom, and I was super into this girl. So maybe I would have been fine with it. I don't know, but I never pulled the trigger, so maybe I wasn't. I don't remember. It was a long time ago.
And how amazing it is that these women that you and I may know who have a child but then separate with their partner, like the courage and perseverance it takes to raise a child alone. I can only imagine, like, that just, I think, totally shows their character and how
Yeah.
wonderful they are. But like you said, it's complicated and it's, this could be a whole other longer conversation, but I think it is time, correct me if I'm wrong, for us to cue our AEW graphic. Let's go. So, Brad, All Elite Wrestling. We have all this talk about WWE, and then I'm like, oh man, we still have a whole other company to talk about. I was going to ask you this last week, but I didn't. And now I am. The building women's rivalry in AEW, specifically the OGs, the day ones, whatever we're calling them,
Yeah.
led by Dr. Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter, versus the free agent signees, seemingly now led by Toni Storm and Saraya. I think you're enjoying this as much as I am. I love that we are dedicating some long-term storytelling for this. I predict this ends up in a blood and guts match at some point this spring. I hope. I'm going to just try to manifest it here. My question for you is, are you sharing these same feelings as I am about, oh man, this is good. This is going to build to something really great. More specifically, we know the payoff is likely not going to be a simple tag team match. So who do you think are the next women added to each of these respective teams? I think one could surmise Ruby Soho is for sure joining one of these squads, most likely the free agent signees. So with Toni Storm and Saraya, then my question would be, who joins the OGs? Does Sheeta come back and side with Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter? So temperature check for you on this. And if you had to sort of fantasy draft, if you had to pick one woman to be added to each of these teams, who would you go with?
It's a good question. I don't know, because the stuff with the bunny kind of threw me off, because the bunny laughing at kind of the OGs getting their asses kicked, like Britt being beat up in the back by the free agents, was weird. Like, why would Bunny be happy about this? I know she's sort of chaos and she's got her little faction, and so I don't know. Is this it's some of the free agents and some of the OGs. Speaking of OG, where's Mercedes? Where's Mercedes Martinez, man? I just, I don't know. I'm excited about the possibilities here. I really like it, but I don't feel like it's OGs versus free agents. I feel like it's same faction versus same faction, just with a different wrinkle. It's just nonstop. Let's put our best female wrestlers together, and we'll just change it so that we keep them together forever. Think about how many of these matches we've seen over the last 6 months of these combination of women in various forms, where Tony's a babyface and now she's a heel, but it's just always been them. It's been Britt and Jamie and Tony and Saraya, and you could throw in a couple of other people in there. Obviously Willow is great. I guess she would be considered an OG. She's already been in that match with was it with Ruby, right?
Exactly.
I think Willow has to be on that side if she's not already. Unclear. Sheeta, I think, would make the most sense given the stuff that happened with Tony. And I think that, but she hates Britt and she hates Jamie, but I think there's a respect there that can make sense for their team. Yeah, I have a lot of questions, man. Like, I don't know if I have a lot of answers, but I have a lot of questions about who's going to go where and what. Yeah,
I think that's the theme of this episode. Lots of questions and just putting it out in the ether.
But I love it. I do love it. Don't get me wrong. I do love it.
Oh yeah. This is new territory for the division in AEW. I also wonder if if we are going to take my blood and guts route and we have a traditional 5 versus 5, to your point, Brad, how do we end up building out the rosters? Do we even see a Jade Cargill come in? And technically, I mean, she wasn't a free agent signing, right? So could we see her in the OGs group, even
She would
though,
be an OG.
you
But
know, like
I don't think
that
she
would be
would do
intriguing.
either. I think she could come out and just be like, you bleeps are stupid. Like,
Take
I'm
on it.
over here killing everybody. I don't care about any of this stuff. It's beneath me, and
Wow.
just
Okay.
ignore everybody. But I could see Red Velvet joining the OGs. I could see,
Oh. Mm.
like she's just got hossed by Jade. I don't really see. I feel like that feud's done. It should be. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
it has to be, right?
Jade is still champion.
Maybe
Yeah.
Kira
I think
Hogan.
so.
Rattling off baddies here, but maybe a
Yeah.
returning
Perfect.
Thunder Rosa
Yeah.
begrudgingly joins the OGs.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't think about her.
Penelope Ford, if she's
Of
healthy.
course. Definitely. Great
Maybe
spot.
it's a window for Chris Statlander to come back. I don't know.
I sure hope so.
I don't know how long she's been gone. I don't know if it's been long enough. Layla Hirsch is probably sooner to return than Chris, but they both got messed up. So I don't know that rehab stuff with knees. It can be Cody Rhodes level recovery, or it can be CM Punk level recovery. We don't know.
Exactly. Yeah. Well said.
So my question for you, Tyler, man. So the last few weeks of Dynamite have been incredible, like really good shows. Primarily because the ROH curse is gone. Samoa Joe killed Darby. The Gun Club got a match with the Acclaimed. Wardlow returned. Mox and Hangman have been putting on bangers. They put on another one this week. And the women's division storylines have been good, and they keep continuing. And we've been getting women's matches and segments on the show. Not as many matches as I would like, but anyway. On Rampage, we had a trios match with zero question about who was going to win. And the Elite committed a murder to finish the match. It ruled, but it was a crime. And the rest of the show was there. It was fine. Tyler, we've done this 100 times before. Fix Rampage.
I love that. The rare, not framed in a question, but a prompt. I love it.
Can you fix Rampage?
You are a teacher at heart.
And how do you do it? There you go. Now you have a question.
Yeah. Man, fixing Rampage. I mean, my
mind
goes
so good for weeks.
I was gonna say at this point, my mind goes to I'm gonna try to be pragmatic, right? When Rampage has been good, what's been the recipe, right? What are the ingredients there?
Live.
Live. Yeah, just live every week. My first thought was making sure we have title defenses, but to your point, we obviously there was no doubt the Elite were retaining against the Firm. I mean, yeah, live would help, and I don't know. On one hand, I like Matt Hardy and Isaiah Cassidy getting the spot, but they're not used really prominently on television every week. So them having a prominent match on Rampage feels like, could we have used this for someone else who's been featured more prominently? It seems like sometimes we get these matches where it's like, oh, I haven't been watching Dark. I haven't seen this person in weeks. What are they doing here? Could this spot be better used? I have no good answer. What is your solution?
I don't know, because like the commentary will be like, they've been having a great run on Dark. It's like nobody's watching that shit. You're getting like
that anymore.
You're getting like 50,000 views probably. It's probably more than that, but I'm not paying attention to it, so I don't care. Like I'll go on there every once in a while, and every time I watch it, I enjoy it. Yes. But there's so much other stuff. Like you're dropping episodes on Mondays. Mondays are for Raw, my friend. Like
Raw and the Bachelor. Yes, our Mondays are booked.
Yeah,
people know
it used to be for Dark, but Papa H took over, and now Raw is palatable. Good, usually. Great, rarely. Better, yes. Palatable, better than the 3-minute squash match on YouTube. Yes, certainly better than that. So I have a hard time with it because it's like I want to watch all these wrestlers to get to learn all of these developmental talents, and also I'm not watching that shit. There's no reason to watch it. Like they're not gonna have a title be defended and lost on Dark or Dark Elevation. My primary reason for watching that is listening to commentary, because the commentary crews are great. They're awesome. But I think to your point, Tyler, I live isn't going to fix it. It's when they have live shows, they're more purposefully booked. And to your point, I kind of feel like Tony does Dynamite really well and then goes, all right, who came here this week? Who's in town? Okay, they're here. All right, we're gonna have the Hardys and the Elite. They're gonna, or Matt Hardy is gonna wrestle with the Firm. I don't know how he's gonna get out of that. However, he's getting out of that will be Jeff Hardy related, I'm sure, at some point. But man, like this is, it seems like they're just throwing stuff in there to go like, all right, we have the A-list talent that we didn't use on the main show, and we'll have them wrestle the C-list talent, not even B-listers, people that have been having builds on TV that have been losing, but like are there all the time on Dynamite and really having a story fleshed out to, I forgot we have really, really good people that work here. We have Isaiah Cassidy and Ethan Page. My bad. I slipped my mind. How do you lose them in the shuffle?
I know.
Ethan Page is money, man.
Exactly. And the fact that Private Party haven't even sniffed the tag team titles is pretty remarkable in the worst way.
Yeah. Well, I think injuries have plagued them. I think that's been an issue. It's why,
and free agent signings, right? When the company started, FTR wasn't under contract. The Hardy Boys weren't obviously free agent signings play a part too.
And to Tony's credit, he's going with the hot hand. Like there's nothing really hotter right now than the Acclaimed.
Exactly.
That sound hits, and it's Pavlovian for that crowd.
Yep. And the Guns have ascended, right? The Guns have obviously leapfrogged many teams.
Yeah. Yeah. And FTR is on a hiatus, and the Elite is doing trio stuff. There's like a million. Death Triangle is doing trio stuff when they're there. House of Black is doing trio stuff. So the trios division has really blossomed, where the tag division has sort of gone to OGs, right? Like there's a lot of people that were developed in AEW that are currently in that division, but it's, you could even throw Jungle Hook in there if you wanted to, but at some point they're going to have a Drew and Sheamus situation where those two tagging together makes me think, well, maybe those two are the ones to make the Usos drop the belt. Cause like, what's stopping that? Get out of here. So anyway, Tyler, I haven't done this in a while. I've left promo business to you. And I've been holding on to this one. This one's been chambered for a minute. It's time for the promo of the week. Play the music.
And now, the promo of the week.
Tyler, I've been hanging on to this for about a month, because people keep texting me and DMing me and saying it to my face, and it's this: I'm busy. I'm just too busy. I have a problem with this. I don't want people telling me that they're too busy this, they're too busy that. I'm going to rattle off the list. Full-time teacher, 5-year-old, wife starting a small business, back to school, podcast, helping the network, helping our website. I'm doing a bunch of shit, man. Like, and that's just, forget the rest of the house stuff. Like, I did yard work yesterday. Like I had to, there was a bush that died on the side of the house. It needed to go. You ever pulled up an agave before? It sucks. Like, capital S sucks. I'm doing all this stuff, and people have the balls to tell me, they have the balls, Tyler, to tell me, man, I'm just so busy. Could you do this? You for telling me I'm too busy for this. I'm so sick of this. Like, hey, you got some time? You want to come over? You want to go to dinner? You want to do this? Nah, I have one thing to do. I'm too busy. You want to tell me this, like, to my face? Like, you're telling it straight to my face. You're too busy. I want you to grab a rock and hold on to it really tight and jump into the sea. I don't ever want you to tell me that you're busy ever again when I am like going, I think I'll sleep tonight. Yeah, maybe I'll do that. That's the choice I have to make. Don't tell me you're busy. Just do your shit. We don't need to hear it. You're not that busy. You made your choices. Silence, please. Thank you.
I'll just say, strap a rocket to this man, Brad. I think you are ready to compete for the top prize, the world championship. That was a scathing promo, and what you said is absolutely factual. You've had that one in the chamber for a long time, so I applaud you for finally debuting or releasing it to the masses.
Felt good,
And
cathartic.
I know how genuinely passionate you are about that particular subject, and you do have so many things going on. I tell you often, I don't know how you juggle it all and do so great. So yeah, man, thank you for that. That was everything I could have dreamt for and more.
I'm looking forward to editing all the bleeps.
I tried to timestamp it for us. Yeah.
Oh,
hopefully
perfect.
I did. Yeah. I did one timestamp, and then I said, "Oh, okay, we got a second one. Let me."
Yeah, it should be. Yeah, I didn't know I was going to do it at all until I felt it, and I went, I don't know what kind word to say. So
That's
yeah,
what
Tyler, what are you looking forward to this week?
Yeah, man. More high school visits this week. So we're really in the thick of that season, as I mentioned earlier. I do honestly really enjoy being at different campuses and like, oh, I knew about Paradise Valley when I was a kid, and now I'm actually on their campus and meeting different teachers and seeing the lay of the land. Super enjoyable. So I got more of that on the work
Awesome.
side of it. Yeah, like genuinely, it's pretty fun. So that's on the work side of things. Personally, like you said, like you always say, lots of wrestling to consume this week. We got Raw, we got NXT post Vengeance Day. Of course, AEW should be great. We are going to see AEW live in about 2 weeks and change. So as that gets closer,
that's crazy.
I get more and more excited.
It's crazy.
So yeah, man, a lot of good hopefully this week. How about you?
Yeah, I have a lot going on this week besides homework and the usual. It's also on Thursday, the one day that we can go to Home Depot to get paint for the show. It happens to be the only day that I can't, or at least shouldn't, go to Home Depot. Every other day I could go, except for Thursday. Thursday after school is Freya's conference or teacher conference. But and Jess is totally fine with me going, which means I should probably not go to Home Depot. And it's hard. I think I overthink it because usually when Jess says it's fine, she means it, but you never know.
We get in our mind. Yeah, we get in our mind. Like, does it really mean that? What it is?
So I'm looking.
Chess and I'm playing
Yeah,
checkers. Yeah,
I'm looking forward to Thursday being over. I'm looking forward to Thursday evening when I'll find out. And another week of school, a lot of really good things on the horizon. I think once registration's over, I'll know numbers for my classes. So I'm looking forward to find out how that played out and whether or not I'll need to move my classrooms to accommodate my sizes.
Yeah, man. Well, keep us posted. I'm excited for you. We are so grateful that you decided to join us. If you're watching us on YouTube, hopefully by now you've peeped the new layout that Brad created. It looks so great, man. Our rebranding, I think, is officially come full circle. Again, so thankful you're here. You know the deal. Brad can be found on Twitter at WinDuster. You can find me at Tyler J. McDowell. Of course, we're at gimmickinfringementpod.com, and we hope you will join us next week. Gimmick Infringement is a part of 19 Media Group. You can listen to us on Good Pods, our premier partners, and Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or wherever you find podcasts. You can also find us on YouTube via the 19 Media Group channel. Please like, subscribe, comment, and share.